And I've got today's chart. If I can figure out, okay. Okay, so this is today, April 6th, 2021, at 4 p.m. in Sedona, Arizona. At least that's what I did the chart for. So, wow, there's some interesting things going on. You notice all the stuff right here?
Yeah, that group has been hanging out together for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, remember last Christmas, everything was in Capricorn lined up, right?
Exactly.
And still Pluto's still there, but everything else has moved into Aquarius. There's Saturn, there's Jupiter. The moon's going over Saturn and Jupiter right now. But look over here in Aries, we've got Mercury, Chiron, the sun, and sun's at 17 Aries and Ceres is at 17 Aries. So the sun is exactly crossing Ceres today in about 4 hours. So I'd say around 8:30 or so will be the new sun Ceres cycle. And Ceres is the Mother Earth goddess, the fertility goddess. She's kind of like Kachina woman. Isn't that interesting? The sun is lined up with Ceres today, and we're showing pictures of Kachina woman. That's amazing. Wow. Well, anyway, so this is the day. We talked about it last week, the end of the sun Chiron cycle, and now the end of the sun Ceres cycle. And Venus is lined up with them. And then they're moving, getting really close to this dwarf planet Eris, who we've talked about before, the goddess of karma. So, some karma coming here.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's always karma. Everything is just the consequences of the things we do, say, feel, eat, whatever happens is karma.
Uh-huh.
It's just consequences. You plant a tomato seed, you get a tomato. That's the natural consequence, So that's a good metaphor with Ceres getting ready to go over Eris is the consequences of Mother Earth and whatever seeds you plant in the garden. So anyway, we're getting close to the new moon. It's about, I would guess, about 5 days.
Yeah. The 11th.
And what is today? The 6th?
Yeah.
Yep. So we're in the last 5 days of this moon cycle. And so the sun conjunct Ceres, let's go back to that because that's like the main event. And here comes Melanie. Oh, I want to show Melanie some of these pictures.
Yep.
I'll upload a good one. Hi, Melanie. Can you hear?
Hi, Dean. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Melanie.
So we've been looking at the astrology chart. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool.
There's been a lot of shootings going on lately, so I don't know how that's all correlating.
Well, I don't either. So if you look, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. If you look, this is a picture of me taken on our Easter event at Kachina.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
You see that? That's like, that's me. There's a little cave next to Kachina woman, but you can see there are a ton of amazing vortex energies around.
Wow, that's a great picture. Yeah.
We got like 50 photos. It apparently, if you use a iPhone, like a
Does it
an
work better than a
iPhone.
regular camera?
Yeah, it's like an iPhone 11. It's got two cameras, and you can see this picture here.
Oh, wow.
You can, I'm going to spotlight myself. So it's
That's
weird.
amazing. Wow.
That is really cool.
And uh, there's a consistency of that shape that looks like an eye or a flying saucer.
Yeah.
And even several people have taken pictures with that exact shape. And we're like, oh,
Well,
here's
well, the
here's the
picture
one
you
where it just
showed last week,
first time.
right, was bigger. Yeah. Okay.
You see the same
Interesting.
shape. And the one I showed last week is really the same shape too, pointing out of, you see that one? Pointing out of her. But if you look and you follow the curve down, it goes past through the tree and along the rim of the rock, and is a rainbow there, but it's still that same shape of like an eye turned sideways.
Yeah.
Looks like
Is
a
it
flying
closer?
saucer.
Is it closer? That's why it looks like a bigger a vortex.
Yeah,
Or
it's like we're right there under Kachina,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's like she's the vortex, so it's kind of coming out of her,
Right.
you know. So anyway,
There's a little rainbow down there too in the corner.
for my birthday, I would like an iPhone 11, okay?
Oh,
Because
when's your
that's
birthday?
June 2nd, Gemini. So yeah, you can make a wish when you're with Kachina. So Kachina, thank you for bringing me the perfect iPhone camera to take great pictures with you. You watch, it'll show up.
Oh yeah.
So this woman was on the trail with me. I was doing an astrology reading, and I said, well, what's your wish? You can make a wish, and Kachina woman will grant it. And she said, money. And so we walked about another minute, and she found a penny. Like, ah, that's funny. And then we sat down under a tree and did reading. And when she got up at the end of the reading, she found $1 in the tree, believe it or not.
Hey, there you go.
It was like a Christmas tree or an Easter egg hunt tree or something. I don't know. What?
Yeah, Kachina is very magical. I always feel good after meditating and releasing there. It's just amazing energy. And now that you're capturing all those photos, that's so cool. I looked at all my photos. I didn't see anything like that. So
this is, if you go up to Kachina woman and right in front of her on top there, this is her face. It's a cave that is carved out like a face. Not carved, it's natural, you know what I mean? And that's where we do a lot of our healing work, right there. With Kachina, my new girlfriend.
you're all Kachina woman. The Kachina.
Sometimes people try to call me or text me and I go, can't talk now, I'm with Kachina woman. And they write back like, are you trying to make me jealous or something? Like, no, she's a rock. Don't worry.
Has Christina drawn up there? Has she gone up there?
She was there on Sunday. She did healing work, but she didn't do drawings up there. But you know, this is right above where we did the drawings in October. It's on the same trail. Yeah. But you know, that would be a lot to lug all the way up there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the chart.
Yeah, I saw your event, and then I was like, I signed up. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not virtual. I have to be there. I'm like, oh, why can't Sedona be closer? It's so far away.
It's like, and you know, everything is starting to open up again. So we got so used to everything being virtual, you just assumed it was, right? And then,
yeah, but then I looked and go, oh, I gotta be there, which would be much better.
Yeah, then you got the email and it said show up in the parking lot, right?
That's cool though. Did you have a group come out?
Yeah, it was so fun. And we manifested this guy with the camera and he took like 50 pictures. So now I can do some really good promotions, you know, So I'm going to do an event every Saturday morning at 10 to 2 with Kachina Woman as my co-producer. And,
Cool.
she's going to manifest all kinds of wonderful things. And like I was just saying to Christine, if you look at the chart, you notice the sun is exactly aligned with Ceres today. And I didn't even know this when I started showing the pictures. And then I looked at it and I go, wow, how perfect. The sun is light and Ceres is the fertility goddess. And I was literally showing the light coming out of the fertility goddess. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? Did that make sense what I said, you guys?
The
So you're
sun.
gonna get that you and Kachina Woman are gonna do something?
Oh, I didn't show you.
Well, now that he's
Yeah,
talking for turn.
I didn't show you the pictures
That's
of the
funny.
after party. So but those are X-rated. So they got banned on Facebook.
Oh,
But
your
anyway,
after party got banned?
well, the pictures on Facebook were banned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Of
because
what? Of
well, Kachina Woman is the fertility goddess too. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
we were having a good old fashioned orgy with Kachina Woman. You know what I mean? So
Oh, did you say that?
anyway, sorry. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings, Kachina Woman. No, she's got a good sense of humor. So yeah. She does. She plays jokes on people. And anyway,
Well, she does
you know,
have
I
the
just think
masculine
it's
and the feminine
interesting that
energies. So
I just think it's interesting we're showing pictures of her, and that's what the Sun conjunct Ceres would mean is the image of the Mother Earth goddess, and it's literally in the picture behind me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Huh.
oh, I need to do something.
Now, is that for just for today, or is that for the next couple days, or?
Well, it's exact today.
Okay. Huh.
And so that means today around 8 o'clock tonight will be the beginning of the new cycle of the Sun in Ceres. So it's like, and literally, I have all these new photos of Kachina Woman. You know what I mean? So that begins a whole new cycle that I'm going to use in my. I'm going to create Airbnb experience and put those photos up there. It's going to be like, wow, that looks to me like the best thing to do in Sedona is that.
Oh
one,
yeah,
right?
awesome.
I mean, that's like other people. You see these videos of people, they're walking up the trail and they're going, okay, here's where you pay for parking. Here's where you go to the bathroom. And you follow this trail to the left. By the way, do you feel anything yet? No, I don't really believe in these vortexes. Oh, okay. And then on the way back, well, did you feel anything while you were up there? Not really. What about you? And it's kind of like, why are you the expert? You know, it's like this is the real deal.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
The true ones know what's going on up there. I met some people that they knew what was up. We could talk about it. Others like have no clue. I'm like, you gotta know, this is like happening whether you believe in it or not. So it's energy. Yeah.
the funny thing, the guy from, well, he was from Connecticut, the guy who took the pictures. We didn't know him before. He just heard us playing singing bowls, and he started taking pictures of us. And we said, "Why don't you come up with us to the top? But we'll show you Kachina Woman herself." He didn't even know where he was, you know what I mean? And he just heard the singing bowls, and so he came up there, and I said, "Would you take pictures of us with your camera? It looks like you've got an iPhone." And he said, "Sure." And he started taking all these pictures, and he showed them to us. Every one of them had vortex images in it, and he wasn't particularly a believer. He was from a Southeast Asian country. I forget which one, like Bali or one of those countries, but not Bali, but like what's my favorite kind of food?
Thailand?
Thai. He's
Thai
probably
food.
from Thailand or somewhere like that. Anyway, he didn't believe in this stuff, and he keeps showing me the pictures over and over. I go, "Are you starting to believe it?" And I said, "Why don't you make a wish to Kachina woman?" He said, "Okay, I wish to open up a little bit." You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, okay, maybe you will start believing in this stuff.
Oh, he has to after capturing that. That's
I
evidence
said
right
you could
there.
make I said these images are masterpieces. You could sell
Yeah.
them for a lot of money. These pictures, you could frame them and put them in galleries in Sedona, and they'd sell. They're like hotcakes, And I said, "Can I have some of these pictures?" She goes, "Yeah, I'll just give them to you." I go, "These are like valuable pictures, But
Oh,
anyway,
awesome.
so he's maybe becoming a believer. So, okay, so let's go back to the chart. So,
Well, isn't it? I mean,
So-
like rebirth as well. Like we're all going to go through rebirth.
yes, because that's what I experience when I'm with Kachina woman, is that when I come down off the Boynton Pass,
Yeah.
that whatever I focus on manifests. It's like you rebirth yourself. So like the first time I went up there and I came back, I've told that story where I rebirthed myself into a 3-bedroom house that day, and I didn't even know I was moving. You know what I mean? And
I think you've been a master of manifesting quite a long time.
that's what we call
From
it.
what I hear,
Master manifesting.
I need to pick up some skills. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always say, that when I tell people when we're going up there, I say, it's kind of like we're going into the womb of Mother Earth and rebirthing ourselves. You're going to have a new life when you come out of here, because that happens to me every time. Like now, this time I have all these great photos. It's like, whoa, I can promote this like crazy now.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
So now,
And that's great proof to show those non-believers. Look at this energy here. Look at, this vortex is amazing. Yeah, I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's interesting you said non-believers. So believing, remember, is Jupiter, right? If
Yep.
are you guys learning anything in these talks?
what do you think?
Yeah, I take notes sometimes because it's hard to remember everything, but yeah.
So I'm putting so beliefs is Jupiter. So that's true. That's a good point, that the benefit of these images is people can believe it now. You know what I mean? And so let's look at what Jupiter's doing. Well, here's Jupiter. Can you see it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys see? You do see it?
Yeah.
Moon,
I
Saturn.
need to hear a yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Saturn, Moon, Jupiter. Okay. And so it happens we're talking about belief, and the moon is going over Jupiter. And it's these green lines mean sextile. And what is it sextiling? Well, it's actually the moon sextiling the sun and Venus. So the sun and Venus, the sun is the image, and a sextile means to kind of to receive something. And so it's kind of receiving credibility. It's receiving moon, which is nourishment, like food, but the food, it's going over Jupiter tonight, and it's feeding our faith. It's feeding our belief. It's like, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what it adds a lot of credibility is what it does.
Plus, it all ties into the COVID vaccine, beliefs on that. Yeah. All that stuff too.
Yeah. Is there anything big going on with belief in that today?
Anything new? I'm not sure.
There actually is something new, because I think it just happened. I just saw it today. Oh, Governor Newsom says, "Oh, we're just going to open up the whole state now to being normal as of June 15th."
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
We'll still, we'll still keep the mask mandates for people who don't have vaccines or tests. So it's like virtually normal. Like all of a sudden, did the belief in, because if you listen to some of the national news, it's saying, oh, don't open up, but then all the states are just opening up like screw you, kind of like we don't believe in this stuff anymore. It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf or something. We don't really believe it.
Well, I think, what I heard on the news is once it all depends on like 2-3 factors, they got to make sure a percentage of vaccines have been distributed for one.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They say you can have faith because everybody's so many. It's like 20 million people have been vaccinated already. We can open up that. You know what I mean?
And then they're going to go by, it has to be a low amount of deaths and people in the hospital, make sure it's doesn't spike again. But I know it spiked up in other states on the East Coast, probably because of, spring break. And I'm still going to wear a mask. I mean, I don't trust people around me. So, and they still don't know 100%, how well. I mean, I'm sure it's going to help you somewhat, but,
Did you get a vaccine?
Oh, no, I won't get a vaccine.
Oh, that's right. I heard you say that last week.
I know everyone I know that has taken it has gotten sick, and I really just don't want to get sick and go through it. I mean, I'm not freaking out thinking I need it. Like those people would rather go through being sick just so they know they have a vaccine and have some comfort. But for me, you can still get sick, and it's going to wear off. So,
yeah, no. Like I said, I've already had it. My own immune system developed immunity to it, so I'm going with natural immunity myself. So.
Yeah, same here. And you, Christine, are you gonna take a vaccine?
I feel pretty good. I'm pretty careful. I mean, things have opened up quite a bit, and things are looking pretty good. So I'm wondering if we're doing this herd immunity thing where so many people have had it, and people are being more careful. Everybody's being, all the restaurants, so all the places are so like doing such a great job, with
Yeah.
everything, sanitizer and distancing and everything. That I think it looks pretty good to me right now. So I feel pretty good about just leaving things as they are. And so
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're fine. No need to.
yeah, I'm just working on building my immunity and
Exactly. 70%, I guess, is what they need for herd.
yeah.
And I mean, so it's fine. We're being the 30%. That's fine. Let us
20% of the people already have immunity from having gotten it. And so anyway.
But they can get it again though, I heard. So
yeah, well, the interesting thing is as the moon goes over Jupiter, what that literally means is the moon is your stomach or your food or whatever you consume, like whether you take this medicine or that medicine or this herb or this food or whatever, or this vaccine, etc. So the moon going over Jupiter today, one of the big issues today is, well, what remedy do you believe in? What is it that you think you need or believe you need? And the fact that it's sextile the sun and Ceres and Venus, kind of all that over there. I'm talking about these green lines here.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, it's kind of the moon going over Jupiter makes people like you both sound optimistic. And I said like, oh, they're opening up events. I can come back to California for the month of June or July when it gets hot here. And I can put an event in San Diego, one in LA, one in Sacramento, one in Mount Shasta, or whatever. You know what I mean? Mostly I'll do outdoor events probably this summer. And so it's
Orange
kind of like
County.
the energy. What?
You didn't say Orange County.
I need to find I might be able to do it at the church in Huntington, maybe out in their parking lot. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's where you were that one time. Okay. And then the one in Anaheim, you were over there too.
Yeah, I've been at the church in Huntington Beach for a couple of years. And I did one in Anaheim, you're right. Did you go to that?
Yeah, that was the last one when you had Hollister around there. I went to that one. Yeah.
But anyway, so it's all kind of like this optimistic energy today. Like, oh, I've got these pictures. I can advertise all over the place and attract a lot of attention that way. And I can go to California, put on events again. It's kind of like happy days are here again. The Sun conjunct series is kind of like the natural Mother's Day. You know what I mean? Because it's like fertility day. Let's plant some seeds. Let's talk about creating some events. And I've been doing that for the last day or so with various people. So anyway, it's that optimistic energy. Won't last forever, by the way. But does anybody notice anything else on the subject? Because this is a good day to talk about series like motherhood or parents or issues between parents and children. And also because Chiron is part of that conjunction still. So like healing the relationship with Mother Earth is still a thing, or just like what we were doing up at Kachina Woman was healing with Mother Earth. You know what I'm saying? Using the energy of Mother Earth for healing. So does it, I take that as a no. Okay.
I'm thinking that,
Yes.
you know, when you were talking about the moon and so nourishment, so what do we need to nourish, you know, and our solar plexus. And so you were saying it was conjunct with something?
The moon is conjunct Jupiter. So it's like our needs, which is the moon and how to take care of them, nourishment. And Jupiter is what do we believe in, how to take care of what we need. You know what I mean? So, and you guys, I'm drinking this beet juice. So I'm like, red. I guess I'll stop drinking.
I'm just trying to put your chart together based on what is going on today. So I'm looking at your chart. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I'm trying to figure it out.
So put the moon together with Jupiter and you see the word needs and you see the word beliefs, right?
Right.
So basically the conversation we were just having was like, what do you believe that you need to do?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And do you need the vaccine? That was, you guys answered that question. And do I need, what do I need to be able to put on events? Well, apparently probably some masks and not much more. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So that's like, you know, so does it have to do with eating though as well? Like, so any kind of nourishment, right?
yeah, food, like what kind of food or herbs or vaccines or medicine or
right.
What do you
Because
need?
that's what I'm trying to get out of this is just to look at it and say, okay, what is it that's happening and how am I nourishing myself and what do I need to do to, what are my beliefs? Yeah.
And it has to do with your beliefs because it's like some people believe they need a vaccine. Some people believe they need masks. Some people believe they need to stay home. Oh, whatever.
Right.
So let's share the screen again and see what else is going on in that chart. Okay, so, oh my God, I've got the mark of the alien going over my face. You see that? I try to keep it right in the middle.
It's like put it right in the center.
It's like a tattoo that I have now, or chakras. My face chakras are.
Oh wow! Look at you.
What is that from? Is that a light of a sun, or what is that?
Well, the window in front of me has blinds on it, and the light is shining through the little slats where the strings go through. So there's a little hole there. So I try to keep it on my face right now.
Yeah, you like it.
Dean, there's so much activity.
It looks like paint.
I like to be weird sometimes.
He's getting primal.
You look tribal.
Looks kind of like war paint, right? Like
exactly.
Anyway, what can I do?
You'd be out going out dancing with Kachina Woman with that
Oh boy, encouraging.
She left her mark on.
She doesn't need a lot of encouragement.
He's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's why Kachina woman, she loves kind of like flattery. You know what I mean? Like when I come to see her, which is like 3 or 4 times a week now, like I always tell the people like, there's my girlfriend. And she really kind of likes that. She likes to be appreciated. You know what I mean?
think you
She
should
likes
take
to
her
be
some
loved.
flowers. Take her some
Ah, there you go.
an
Well, I brought
offering.
her
Like,
music.
do a
I
little
brought her
offering.
people.
I think she'll really be happy then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I don't know. Maybe we could talk about this because the Sun conjunct Ceres, this is really the day to think about, how do we view her? Is she a rock with a name, Kachina woman, a fanciful name that we make up, or is she a spirit that embodies or is, in the rock? Or that's what they say a Kachina is. It's the spirit of some part of nature, and
Yeah,
they
isn't
say
it?
that Kachinas have relationships, and there's other rocks around that look like grandmother, grandfather, and there's another one that's the guy right next to her. Maybe you might be jealous of me if I'm calling her my girlfriend. So you think, does Kachina woman have consciousness or not? And those pictures, they suggest that there's more, because that doesn't happen everywhere, those kind of pictures. So I see the vortex that always is around her, and it's not so much around the other rocks. So what do you guys think? Is she sentient? Does she have senses? Does she have awareness? Is she helping us? Or am I just having a fantasy?
Oh my, a fantasy. Well, having experienced the Kachina woman myself, she's very healing. I mean, I've gone there and met it, I think 3 times on my own before we went as a group. But we didn't even go up there though, we were below. But when I went, I was underneath her when I went in front of that tree.
On that same trip in October, you went up there?
Yeah, I took Laura up there with me. And then I went, and Laura went back, and then I went and meditated over there. But when I've gone previously and meditated, I did a release. Like I would write everything down I would want to let go of, like in my life, in my past, and just meditate on it there and just absorb the Kachina woman and her energy. And then I would rip it up and then go home and feel great for a month. I felt like everything was aligned in my chakras. I let all that stuff go. I was lighter. So I always feel amazing when I go meditate on her, and well, she's also, there's a tradition of the Hopi Indians with her too, with the Kachina woman. So that's another, with the Hopi Indians and with the Kachina woman and that kind of traditional, that, those myths that they talk about. But also she's masculine and she's feminine energy. So she's a balance of both. So I see her as a yin and a yang. So very powerful.
Well, that other rock formation right across from her is considered the masculine side.
Ah, okay. I've never gone and sat under that. I always just go to her. I'm more drawn to her energy. And I've actually sat and just laid on her, like behind, my back, and put my crystals there too. And just sat there for a while. Yeah, it's amazing. You're so fortunate to be able, obviously you live out there, you can go anytime, but it's amazing. I wish it wasn't so far away. Like I would have drove up there over the weekend.
Well, that's why I moved here, but now I'm going to start going on my circuit again. But this is now part of my circuit. It's going to be the spring and fall part of my circuit.
But I think it's important to tell her you're appreciative because she is a vortex and she's healing and she's there, So, did you look into the history of it with the Hopi?
Well, that's interesting because Mercury. Yeah, I have a friend, Clifford Mahudi. He's going to be here this month in Sedona, and he says a Zuni elder and a Kachina dancer. And the Kachinas, they say that the Kachinas are just the spirits of a rock or a stream or a tree or
Yeah. Okay.
the
Like those
moon or
little
whatever.
Hoppy
You know what I mean?
dolls. They have little Hoppy dolls they sell. Like,
Yeah, and it's
I have,
pronounced Hopi, by the way.
oh, Hopi. Yeah. Okay.
And
Hopi.
hoppy, hoppy, hippity
Hoppy.
hop. It is
What
Easter, so
I
maybe
never
for
get my
Easter it's
pronunciation
hoppy.
right.
What?
I never say things right usually, so you have to correct me.
what
That's
is
okay.
Clifford gonna be doing out there?
Well, there's a conference at the Center for Spiritual Awakening or something like that,
Oh, okay.
with a lot of other speakers that they're going to have. And I'm not sure the topic, but anyhow,
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. I've watched him on YouTube.
Clifford?
Yeah.
What's his
Oh,
last name? Who's that?
Mahudi.
Mahudi? Clifford
And I
Mahudi.
always, he's a friend of mine that I always see at the New Living Expo and the Conscious Life Expo. He goes to a lot of these events that I go to. And he always talks to me like, I don't even ever remember meeting him, but he always talks to me like we've known each other forever. It's
Oh,
funny.
cool.
He's just a really nice guy, and he's a very knowledgeable. I'm going to see if I can get together with him when he comes here later this month. But anyhow,
So I'm
so
looking at the third eye. So that's the sun, and I'm looking at the healing thing and co-creation, which is the asteroid, right? And
yeah,
so we're healing, the root. We're healing from the root. That's what I'm getting.
yeah. Like the
Um,
root is like the mother Earth energy, or giving birth
yeah,
at the root
you're right,
chakra. You know?
right. So healing that part of ourselves, and having the energy come in from the top, and also be grounded. That's what I'm feeling when I look at this chart, is to how do we bring in the energy into even, circulate it, and to even ground ourselves and go into the earth, and you know um do that kind of healing. I think would be something that I'm probably going to be doing, because I think that makes sense to me to do something like that. Can't go wrong with healing and grounding. And since the aspects are about that,
That
then
is
it would be very powerful.
Yeah.
that was actually the first thing I noticed when I went there, was that it was grounding, and then
Right.
because of what I've been through, I've been kind of out of my body for a few years. So the first few times I went there, it was specifically with some friends, and we were doing like grounding ceremonies, where we would do energy work on ourselves and then sit under a tree
Right.
and ground into it. And that's after doing that, this tree grounding experience was when I went home to the Airbnb and then instantly was catapulted over the fence to the next street over into a more permanent living situation. So
Yeah.
that's getting rooted into the Sedona area. And so you're absolutely right. It's all about like the leg. So that is very good use of the energy of that, of this time. Is it's like starting a new, rooting into something new. It's like, I mean, and even today, I started working on my calendar, and when I realized I can start putting events on in California as of June 15th, apparently. So, like, oh, well, I'm going to sort of uproot myself from Kachina for at least a month when it starts getting hot here.
Yeah.
It's already getting hot, but when it gets too hot, I'll go to California for a month or so, and then come back. I'm going to start my circuit again. So it's, in a way, I'm kind of uprooting and traveling. I'm going back to a nomadic summer, you might say.
Sure.
Coming up here in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of that energy is rooting and uprooting because it's the end of the cycle. So it's kind of like a little bit of uprooting and then a rerouting somewhere else is kind of what's been on my mind today. And I hadn't thought about it, but you just reminded me. So you're such a good astrologer, Christine. You could be doing readings.
I'm just trying to follow like what you've been saying and just looking at things and looking at
You're
things.
doing good. You're really learning it well.
Thank you. I'm just learning something. So I mean, you're the one that's kind of saying, okay, this is what's going on, and I just kind of go, okay, what does that mean, you know? And then
Yeah,
using.
well, you're kind of repeating it back, but you're doing a good job of it. You know what I mean? Applying it.
I'm
Because I mean, it
trying.
made me realize when you said it, even though I've said it before too, but it made me realize what I was doing today was kind of uprooting myself. It's like I don't really want to go to California not to insult the state you guys are in, but you know what I mean? It's so nice here that it's kind of hard to uproot myself. But once it gets so hot, I will probably be motivated. So I'm anticipating.
Mm-hmm. What is happening with anything else going on with this? And then the new moon is coming up. Is there something significant happening with the new moon?
Okay, well, let's answer the first question first. So here's something to look forward to. We've talked before about Eris, which is at 24 Aries.
Uh-huh.
And all of these planets are heading in the direction of Eris. And Eris is the sister of Mars. And she's like the warrior goddess, like Xena, the warrior princess, or Mother Kali, who we've talked about. You guys have heard us talk about Mother
Right.
Kali.
Uh-huh.
She's a kind of the warrior goddess. And if you mess with her, she just cuts your head off and puts it on her necklace. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so it's like we're coming close to what I call the goddess of karma or the goddess of consequences. So as like Venus is getting really close to her in the next few days, the sun will pass over in a week. In fact, that new moon, maybe what I'll do is I'll move the end. Since you asked that question, I will. Oh, what did I do? I'm gonna move her through the days, and so I'm going to go a day at a time. So each day it's going to move a little more, and hold on a second. I got to answer this. So you guys
Oh,
talk.
no problem.
Hey guys, hi Christine, hi Melanie.
Oh, hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Does anyone want to catch me up with what Dean's talking about a little bit so I can follow along?
Well, he was just talking about the different aspects, and he was talking about the moon energy and the beliefs. I think Saturn, Sun conjunct Saturn, I think he said, and
Okay.
it's the energy of the. Okay, let me just start from the beginning. Like, so he started with Ceres, Mother Earth, and Kachina woman healing energy, and so he says the end of the sun and a Chiron thing that was going on, and it's the Erie karma goddess, and then he was talking about sun, the conjunction with Jupiter, and which is your beliefs. Oh, he's back. He's back.
You're doing great. This is perfect.
Yeah, that was great.
I
Thank
can
you so
retire.
No,
You can just let Christine do it.
I'm just listening to you, and then I like just add
That
my
was
own.
awesome. So what I just did was I moved the planets forward to April 11th, which is the new moon. You see that? The sun and the moon now are in the same exact place
Uh-huh.
around 7:30 at night. Oops. There it is.
So that's going to be
7:31.
April 11th.
So what we're moving into was kind of the question is that see all these things in Aries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the sun and moon will conjunct on in between two dwarf planets, Ceres, which is exactly aligned with today, Michelle. And so today is the beginning of the Mother Earth cycle, the new Mother Earth cycle. And when we get to the new moon, it's going to be going over Eris, which is the goddess of karma or consequences that we've talked about before. And so it's kind of like it's going to be a month of experiencing the consequences of the choices that we're making. And interestingly, what's happening at that time is a lot of the states, including California, like now they're saying we can have gatherings. I can put on events again. You know, did you hear that?
No, but well, I saw somewhere that everything was opening up. And it was June 1st, I think, that everything's opening up, but I
Yeah.
didn't know specifically that events are now open. I heard two things from regular
Well,
mainstream news.
not quite yet, but they're talking. Yeah, and one of them said, well, you're going to have to test everybody. And if not, they have to be in another section where they're 6 feet apart with masks on or something. But the thing that came out today was more like, we're just going to open it up like normal, except masks. Maybe only for people who don't have a vaccine or something like that, whatever. But it's like, well, we probably can figure out a way to put on events with that. And so as we move into this new month and the sun and moon go over Eris in a week, it's like, well, that'll be interesting because everybody's talking. There's kind of an argument going on where some of the people, if you go to one website, it'll say, don't open up too fast. There's another variant and there's going to be big consequences, this huge new wave, and be scared, be really scared. Don't open it up too fast. And Texas is open, Arizona's open, Florida's open already. And that's, you know, why I'm in one of those states. But it's like now it's going to be pretty much everything. If California's doing it, then everybody's going to do it. And so then we'll be dealing with, they're talking about the consequences. See, because Eris is the goddess of consequences. So they're talking about, if you do this, these will be the consequences. But of course, if you don't open up California, then the consequence would probably be that Governor Newsom would be recalled, which would be the major consequence, because then all these companies like Disneyland or all these hotels that want to put on events again, like weddings or expos and festivals, and all those people are getting pretty impatient. And so the consequence, if they don't do it, would be lots of millions of dollars of donations into the recall effort would be the consequence. And the consequence would be Newsom not being governor. You know,
I thought we were already in that consequence. I thought that was already collected.
well, there is a recall, but we still have to vote.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
And people, companies with money are deciding whether to donate to recall him or to donate to keep him. Now it's money that will decide. And so when I see that all of a sudden, out of the blue, even though all of the people like Fauci are saying, don't open up too fast, I'm going, usually Newsom is right on the same page, but he's like going the opposite. So I'm going, so I'm just imagining like meetings in his office with Disneyland and Magic Mountain and Hyatt hotels and you know, the ones I use, Crown Plaza and IHG and blah blah blah. It's like they're all going, we got a lot of money and we're going to either put it on you or on the other side. Which will it be? And I just can imagine once the recall was certified, I think it was already, and they know they have enough ballot signatures. So I see the consequences of the recall going through as it's going to be voted on is California's opening up. It served its purpose. You know what I'm saying? Those are consequences. But then they'll be talking about, well, the consequence of all these, how many people will die, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to hear next month is going to be about consequences. You know. So.
And Dean, you don't really believe in like I mean what each zodiac means, like Aries, because Aries is kind of a like an aggressive kind of action kind of warrior energy.
Actually, I believe that the signs are subsets of the seasons. So Aries is spring, the beginning of spring, and the symbol of Aries is like a sprout coming out of the ground. I don't actually believe it's a goat ramming through a wall. I believe it's a sprout. Like I'm looking out my window and I see on the tree there things that are shaped like Aries, these things coming out of the tree, things coming out, plants coming out of the ground. We're watering the garden and all this. And it looks like Aries. It looks like spring is a, and it doesn't really, it's kind of a goat head thing is stupid, but, or a ram's head, but that has nothing to do with spring. But actually, if you think about, well, the seed has to burst through the earth and then the thing comes out. So yeah, I believe that it is the awakening and the coming back to life. It's not a coincidence that it's Easter and we have the resurrection coming back to life after the crucifixion. And so it does mean, like it's been winter, we've had like a year of hibernation, so it's been a long winter, and now we're coming back to life. And what's happening? All the states are opening up, including California. So I do believe it means resurrection, awakening, waking up. It's just like morning, it means waking up. And so, yeah, I believe in that.
So that's how you see Aries, basically, right?
Yeah, it's a spring sign, and like I'm a Gemini, that's also a spring sign 2 months from now. And that's Gemini being air, it's more like movement. That Gemini is when school ends and you get on an airplane and you fly to some other place, you move around. I'm already planning my travels. If they're opening up California during Gemini, I'm going to head back to California and put on events wherever I can. And it'll be movement, like air, like flying, but I'll be driving, but it'll be, air means movement or motion. And me being a Gemini, first of all, it doesn't mean that I'm schizophrenic. It doesn't mean that I'm two-faced. It doesn't mean that I read a lot of books, because I almost read zero. And it doesn't mean I talk, because I actually talk less than most people. But it does mean air, like movement, like I'll be more nomadic instead of all in one place. And so will everybody else more. So everybody will start a vacation. So they do mean something, but not, for example, Gemini in Tarot is the Lover's card. And I relate to the Lover's card. I like that, but do I relate to two-faced, schizophrenic, bipolar, manic depressive, whatever word you want to call it, multiple personality? Not really. I don't relate to that. Nor do I relate to intellectual, because I'm not. I'm a feeler person, which is more in line with the Lover's card, you know. So it's different. And just like, for example, when they do statistical research, what do you think they found was the sign of the slob, the messy person, the least organized person? What do you think sign it was?
Aries.
It's Virgo, believe it or not.
I'm a Virgo.
Yeah, you're the slobs of the zodiac, and you thought you were the neat and clean and organized one. We know your secret.
I know I'm not. I'm not. But what about those other qualities of Aries? So, like for me, maybe a caricature of an Aries would be like confident, ambitious, driven, energetic, those sorts of qualities.
Yeah. Well, think about what's it like outside right now. The sun is shining. It's definitely more energetic than when there's snow on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with all those planets in Aries, does that mean that we're supported in having more energy and being more active and doing that sort of thing?
I would say yes, because doesn't it feel that way?
It does to me. I'm feeling really good. I'm liking the energy feeling.
It means coming back to life after a period of dormancy. Just
Yeah.
like Easter means, crucifixion, resurrection, so death and rebirth. Winter is the time of dormancy, hibernation, and Aries is coming back to life. And
so I think you said that like the sun and the moon is in Aries.
There's
Like,
about
what's the
7 things. Can you see all this?
Not
Chiron, this is the new moon next weekend. Chiron, Mercury, Ceres, Sun, Moon, Eris, Venus. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 of them are dwarf planets, Eris and Ceres. And one's the sun, one's the moon. But then you've got Venus, Mercury. Chiron's also a dwarf planet. These are a lot of dwarf planets. It's like the awakening of the dwarfs is happening, Healing through sound and words. I'm literally doing an event in the Vortex with sound healing on that day.
Nice.
Saturday, we're starting we're going to do a weekly Saturday morning free event at Kachina Woman every week until it's for about the next 10 weeks, until it's time to go to California to do events there when it gets too hot here. And so I'm doing sound healing, which is Mercury Chiron. We started doing it a couple days ago, and Mercury is conjunct Chiron now. And then Ceres, the mother, we're literally doing sound healing at Kachina Woman. You know what I mean? So that's what it means in my world, but what it means is communication through words. So it's a good time for psychotherapy, counseling, healing. A lot of people need advice or verbal music healing. You know what I'm saying? Still, as it is now. So I just showed a bunch of pictures of Kachina Woman that showed all the vortexes a few minutes ago. I'll put it behind me so you can see what I'm talking about. But we're getting great images of Mother Earth. Good time to take pictures because it's the sun, it's light. Good time to take pictures. There's Kachina Woman's face, one of the many. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's where we do the healings in that. It's kind of a cave. It's almost like a womb-like place to rebirth people in. And then, so all of this is sun conjunct. But anyway, so it's the beginning of the new cycle with Mother Earth. It's the beginning of our new relationship between parents and children or whatever. That's weird. I thought that I loaded a bunch of pictures here, but I'll just go grab one. This is our group, our event last Saturday at Kachina Woman. Can you see the vortex?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a spaceship.
We had tons of pictures. What? It looks like a spaceship, right?
Yeah.
Um, there's it flying in. You see that?
Yes.
There. You see all this. We have like 50 pictures up at Kachina Woman, and you can see the vortex crystal clear in every one of them. It's just amazing. So anyway, that is the Sun conjunct series, which is seeing the light coming out of Earth. You know what I mean? Seeing the image, the visual image. It's a new visual image, and I'm going to use those pictures in my promotions. So I'm going to create Airbnb experiences with all these pictures. Would you like to know where the exact locations of the vortexes are? We can take you there. We know where they are. And this is what they look like. And bring your iPhone because you can take pictures of it too. So pictures of the Mother Earth. And then all those things are going over Eris. Venus is already going to be over Eris sometime in the next 2 days. So this means relationship consequences or the consequences of the feelings. Now that's already come up for me. And I've been talking to people like people that come into my house and start complaining to me about something. I'm like, this is a no complaining zone. Go away. You can't do that here. I don't give you permission. I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not your husband. You can't complain to me. I'm not the complaint department. You know what I mean? So the consequences of your negative feelings is going to be your banishment.
Mm. So that presence of, is it Eris that brings the karma? Does that make the karma immediate? Does it accelerate it so that it's right in front of you? Yeah, it does.
It's like the consequences of your words. So or in this case, feelings more, but it'll be words. But I notice it, like as I'm going up the trail, I tell people pretty much whatever you set your intentions on or talk about, it's going to manifest, just like I manifested a home. And so, and I told this to Christine earlier, but this woman I took up there a couple of days ago, I said, what would you like? Make a wish. I'm Deanie the genie. Make your wish. And I grant you 3 wishes. And she said, money. Okay. And we walked about 10 feet and she found a penny.
Pennies from heaven. That's a good sign.
And then I did the reading for her under this tree below Kachina Woman that had shade. And we didn't see this when we sat down, but when we got up at the end of the reading, there was a nickel in the tree, like it was like a Christmas tree, and it had a nickel. And then we looked at another branch behind that one, and there was $1. We're like, wow, let's follow this thread here. You know what I mean?
So hopefully that just keeps going and going for her.
Yeah, it's just a sign. Yes, your wish is granted. Here's some more money.
Yes.
Like she literally, I have never found money on that trail. And literally after saying the word money on the trail to Kachina Woman, she found 3 pieces of money, a penny, a nickel, and $1 in that order.
That's excellent. That's a great story.
And then the reading was like, I looked at her chart and I go, oh, you look like you're a medicine woman or a healer or something like that. She had Sun conjunct Chiron like we have now. And I go, oh, you're probably a healer. And she goes, well, I'm an Aztec. My grandmother was a medicine woman and my ancestors were all like, well, guess what? It's in your DNA and you're one too. She's young, so she's not fully embraced it yet. And nobody's listening to her yet, but she's one. And so the other thing she found when she stood up in the tree right above her head was something that looked like a Christmas tree ornament for like a moon, but it was Native American theme and it had a real feather.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a earring or a pendant or something that you could put on that says, I'm a medicine woman. Here's my feather to prove it. Like, it's like, I'd say that was some confirmation from Kachina Woman or something.
Yeah.
And it literally wasn't there when we sat down. It was right above her head, bright, big thing. How come we not? And I'm like looking at her the whole time, and it's right there. How could I not have seen it? I don't know. But we saw it when we got out. It was like the whole thing is a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, anyhow, the consequences of your feelings, the consequences of the pictures in your head, the intentions, the consequences of your words and your actions. This is what this month is going to be about. A lot of consequences, and not those are not necessarily bad consequences. Like finding money on the trail isn't a bad consequence of saying the word money. You know what I mean? It's just that's karma. Karma means the seeds that you plant grow into the kind of thing that the seed is from. You know what I mean?
So that's kind of perfect, because I was going to ask you, I'm working on a quantum workshop. So how to access the field and how to do quantum manifesting. And it sounds like all of that you're describing is that. So it's like kind of, it's in that sort of realm, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because manifesting kind of means the same thing as quantum, you know.
So we've got the sun and the moon, Eris. And what else is in Aries? Venus.
Venus, yeah.
That's all sounding good to me.
Well, you know, most people would be scared of this is that flying saucer when it showed up. It flew in. When we climbed up there to do healing, and we went into this cave, which was also shaped like this thing, and it flew in there and was above us the whole time we were doing the healing, and I didn't see it. I've got about 50 more pictures. That one was a medicine wheel appeared above us while we were doing laying on of hands. It was like a big giant orb, but it was like a medicine wheel.
Wow.
The camera caught it, you know. And so it's kind of like these things are like consequences of we're focused on healing. So the aliens show up with their medicine wheel. You know what I mean?
You didn't see them? You just saw them on the pictures afterwards. Cool.
Yeah, we didn't know. I mean, except every time he took a picture, there's a random guy that we met, the consequences of me saying, thank you, Kachina Woman, for helping me get some great pictures for my Airbnb experience ads this month that Emrys has been bugging me about. And so I manifested like 50 pictures of vortexes that are visual.
Wow.
You know, that all look like this.
Yeah.
They're all with the same shape.
Wow.
It's the same shape that's coming out of her. In the other picture that I had like from a week or two ago, which I'll show you. That one.
Yeah.
You can see, if you really look at this picture, that the curve continues below the tree along the ridge, and I can't blow it up right here, but it turns into, you can see whenever it's in front of the rock, it looks like a rainbow. And then it continues back so that it's got that same shape, which is kind of like an eye or a flying saucer. But anyway, the consequence of me talking to Emrys about needing photos, great photos of a group experience in the vortex, I can't imagine better photos, you know what I mean?
So it sounds like we want to be having conversations about what we want to be having happening.
Yeah, without the want
help it happen.
I would just say having conversations where we ask for help and say thank you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it just manifests. Like the money manifested, the initiation experience for this woman. I feel like I did an initiation for a Aztec medicine woman spontaneously and received a little gift at the end for her. You know what I mean? It's like I could probably retire and just let the magic happen.
There you go.
You
How
know what
about
I
that
mean?
for an idea?
I should be careful about saying that. I might have just manifested my. This is my retirement. I get to put on events in vortexes that you
Yeah.
can see the energy of. But I'm planning a trip to California, probably June, July, when it gets hot here. I'll start.
So Gwen told me she's opening June 1st.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm going to Mount Shasta for the solstice, and we could put on an event up there with vortex. And I'd love to get some pictures of the vortex. I need people with iPhones, or I'm actually manifesting an iPhone. That's the consequence for me.
Yes. So how long do we have this? Because I like this lineup.
Well, it's it's a whole bunch of cycles ending. Like today is the end of the Sun series cycle and the beginning of the new one. And so this is the end of the self-image, the mother self-image. And I'll tell you how it manifested for me. I remember I just said, I don't like it when people bitch and complain at me, especially when they're wrong and it's their own projection and not me. You know what I mean? Don't you love that? And what I realized after that happened, and I had a big blow up with somebody that was bitching about something that I tried to get their attention about 2 days before, and I did everything I could to get their attention, and they said, don't knock on my door, don't talk to me, don't blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, never mind. And then they're bitching and complaining to me that the thing that I was trying to get to happen didn't happen. And I'm like, I realized that was my mother, you know, and my mother was always treating me like crap, you know what I mean? And so I go, oh, well, so I am eliminating the old mother image while I'm with the Mother Earth, Kachina woman. It sort of, the vortex is like suction energy, and it sucks it out of you. And I've been asking, I actually literally asked for my old mother image to be removed, at the bitchy, complainy, critical mother one, you know, the critical parent that we all probably had, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I asked for that to be removed, and it was. It's like I said, I'm not taking that bullshit anymore. Bye. You know what I mean?
So you removed it. You said no to it.
I said no to it. I said I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going. That's against my rules. This is a no complaining zone, and no drama zone, no complaining zone, and whatever you said a minute ago. It's like it's like a boundary. Like, and then I got a phone call from my friend Emmy, who puts on the Festival of Light that I promoted last week. You guys might have seen it on email. It was an amazing, huge online event with lots of great speakers. But their co-producer was being a bitch. Excuse my language. And I said, well, you got to set boundaries. You got to define who's responsible for what, create a domain so they can be bitchy within their own domain and not, you know, it's like they haven't defined who's the producer, who's the marketing director, who's the program director, who's the sales director. You got to define all that stuff really clearly, and you can't have 3 people that all think they own the event. You know what I mean? You have to have one producer, and then underneath that you have 3 top directors. But you can't just be you know, ambiguous about it. It's kind of like 2 or 3 people can't all make decisions at the same time. you can't sit and have a meeting every 5 seconds when you have to make a decision. So somebody has to be in charge. You know what I mean? So, and I had the same issue with people that they were having such a good time. It's like all of a sudden I had just met them, but they wanted to be my co-producer. I go, well, that would be nice, except that doesn't work with strangers very well. And you need to get, it's like getting married before you've met. And,
Yeah.
or getting married after the first date or something. It's usually, there's more to be learned. So, but anyway, so I think from this conversation, I'm getting a really important realization, which is that the sun lining up with Ceres today means letting go of the old mother-child image that was imprinted
Oh,
by the relationship we had with my mother. And
wow.
you've heard me say mine was something like, I get born, the nurse tries to get my mother to hold me. She says, take him away. I don't feel like holding him. Would you put him in another room? And so that's the sort of like rejection, abandonment, or whatever you want to call it. It's like the message of go away from the mother to the child, basically. And I'm very aware that that's the message. So, and by the way, my mother, I've told this story before. Before my parents were married in the 40s, my dad was in World War II, parachuting into Germany as a ranger. And so, he came home for whatever you call it, and he met my mother on a train, and they fell in love and ended up getting pregnant. And so, but the mothers, her mother and his mother, my grandmother, it's such a scandal to get pregnant before you're married in those days. Nowadays, it's no big deal. But in those days, it's a big scandal. So she was forced to have an abortion. And so she felt horrible, and has still, a couple of years ago, she was telling my sister, I couldn't save the baby. I couldn't save the baby. You know what I mean? Like she felt terrible about it because they were planning on getting married. You know what I mean? They loved each other.
And they were in love. Yeah.
They were in love, and she would have had the baby. And it was undoubtedly, it was a boy. And so when I was born, the irony is that she felt terrible about having aborted someone that might have been me, trying to come through the first time. And then when I do come, she's like, maybe that was too traumatic, that whole thing, like that I'm born and it's not me, but it is me. You know what I mean? But I experienced the same thing twice. I got rejected from the womb, and then I got rejected as I popped out. So all of this kind of energy, that's the mother-child self-image in me has come to, and I literally asked a China woman, I said, I'd rather have you as my mother image, you know what I mean? Like a nurturing.
So you're supported now, or we're supported now in recreating that agreement, or that deal.
Yeah, I'm creating a different mother picture, a different picture of mother. So I don't have to have the rejecting mother syndrome.
So now you have the magical mother.
I have the magical co-creating mother. You know what I mean?
Healing, magical healing.
Like we're giving birth to amazing experiences for people.
That's brilliant. I love that.
We're manifesting money or whatever they wish for out of the ether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is magic,
It is magic. So for anyone who might be watching this, they can also kind of sit down and write out whatever agreement they want with their mother, or whatever new agreement they want with mother energy.
And it's because it's the sun, it's literally a picture.
Oh,
it's the picture.
So, yeah, it's the image.
The image of the self-image Or
Mm,
like we all have a core self-image that our ego is built around. It's like a scene. So this is the scene with your mother where the image was crystallized, you could say.
mm.
Yeah.
That's so important. And if you like your deal with your mom, you just keep it the same, right? You don't have to change it if it's a good one.
If you got a good one, go just keep it the same. Yeah. But you could upgrade it even better, you know.
Interesting. So that's quite magical with that combination of energies. And I really like that sort of instant karma or instant consequence.
Yeah.
That's quantum to me. That's like, think it and there it is. Magic. No time to get to your manifestation.
And because Ceres, which is the energy that is highlighted today, the image of, she's the fertility goddess. She's the Mother Earth goddess. She's the image of making a baby, kind of, which is a co-creation that happens between you and her, or between the father and the mother image, or whatever. But it's like I ask people, what would you like to co-create with Mother Earth, kind of, you know what I mean? And it's interesting that like California announced like today or whatever, oh, we're going back to normal all of a sudden, you know, like, oh, well,
That's nice.
that's like, and California is just a part of Mother Earth, really. It's just a section of Earth that's been defined as California. But it's like, it's funny, Arizona's got its thing, and they were ahead of California on, they're already normal again. And they canceled the mask mandate, recently.
Oh, did they? In Arizona, there's no mask mandate. I think Florida's like that too.
Oh, they canceled it, and they even made it illegal. They did an executive order a couple of days ago in Florida banning vaccine passports.
Yes, I saw that. But I also saw this week, Fauci said that they would not be mandating the vaccine passport for travel and business.
Well, that's good because they probably can't. It's already going through the courts, and they're going to lose if they try to mandate it. So they probably just already realized they've lost on that one. So.
With the Republicans and the Democrats through the House, you mean? Or through the courts, you mean?
Through the courts, it's already.
They can't do it.
It's already lost. But I mean, it could go up to the Supreme Court, but it would lose there too.
But I think a business can still do that if they want to. They can set their own rules. If they say, well, hey, you need to have the vaccine in order to work.
Yeah, they might have a business might be able to, but not a government.
Yeah, I worry the schools are going to do it. That's my worry. So
I think it's there's good indicators. I think that the schools won't be.
I hope not. Yeah.
If this is going in this direction now, that they won't be. And I also saw another thing that was in mainstream media about no more. I saw an article. It said no more hysterical cleaning. No more hysterics around the hygiene.
Oh my God, that's the
from
worst.
The CDC.
I never got like that. I just made sure I washed my hands, and some people got hysterical.
Yeah, really, with bleaching everything.
I had one friend that would strip her clothes off before she came into the house.
Yeah.
In case her clothes were contaminated, and then she would wash them right away, and all the groceries would stay outside, and she would wipe them all down. I'm like, wow, that's nuts. I was never even that close.
And by the way, there's a study of like children who are raised that way in like sterile environments. They get the sickest because they don't develop immunities to the natural germs around you.
Yeah, there's germs everywhere.
You're supposed to be exposed to stuff.
The microbiome, we need the germs to have a healthy
The
microbiome. Yeah.
good and the bad. Yep. So does that mean then if he's saying they can't mandate the vaccine, so is that going to like take away what they're trying to do with traveling to the States, or they're still going to leave that up to the governor in the state?
Well, I think they said they wouldn't be mandating the airlines with the vaccine passport.
Okay, so you can freely travel without being
Well,
vaccinated.
I don't know that it's that straightforward, because other countries, I think it depends on your country of destination. Because I know like Spain is demanding the vaccine passport already.
And Israel for
Yeah.
sure already.
And
Yeah.
Israel for sure is doing it. So I don't know that it's going to get a little complicated, I think, for international travel. And I also saw a thing about Canada. Did you see that thing about Canada, Dean?
No.
That they were requiring, if anybody returned into the country with a positive COVID test, they had to go to these intern camps.
What?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah,
Intern camps? That's like a concentration
exactly.
camp.
Intern camps where they had to stay. I think it was like between 10 days and 2 weeks if they had a positive test. So that was Canada. I mean, that surprised me. Like Canada? Is it Canada?
Yeah,
I've been
Canada
hearing it.
though, Canada is requiring whether you have the vaccine or not. Because I've been trying to go to Canada now for a while.
Oh,
And a 2-week quarantine in a place, in a hotel. So you got to quarantine whether you have had the vaccine or not. You have to go quarantine.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Seems really intense.
Yeah, it really is. And 2 weeks is such a long time.
And I'm assuming that's at your own expense, right?
Oh yeah, at your own expense, and even if you come up negative.
Wow.
So
And even if you've been
very late.
vaccinated, that.
And even if you've been vaccinated, yeah, because I was looking at the rules and I was like, this is crazy. This is really like strict. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to change it or not, but they haven't been allowing people in. It's very, very strict.
That is really intense. I think I'm just going to give it some time. I'm looking at going to England. And I think what I'm going to do is give it some time to just see if it settles down into a more sane situation.
Is it quarantine also if you go to England?
Yes, it's quarantine, it's vaccine mandates and things like that. So I think they're just starting to sort it out. They've got a soft opening April 12th. And then a harder opening May 17th, where the pubs and restaurants and things are going to be open on May 17th. So I wouldn't go there before then anyway. So
You'd want to go to the pubs, yeah.
yeah, I want to go to the pub. I'm not going to go to England and not go to the pub. That's not going to happen.
No, that's part of the culture there. You have to go hang out.
Exactly. It wouldn't be a visit to England without it. But I mean, I don't know about where they're going to land with the vaccination. It looks to me like with travel, most places are more focused on the tests than the vaccines. They want you to, test before you get on the plane, and then test when you get off the plane. They want tests each time before you get on the plane.
Yeah.
Which I quite like that idea, because then you can be comfortable on the airplane and know that everybody's negative on the airplane.
I think some things are okay. I think some things are reasonable,
Yeah.
That's okay. But,
that's reasonable. I don't like the idea of the passports at all. And as Melanie was saying, what are they going to end up? Where are they going to land with the school situation? Because I don't know, are they mandating the vaccine for children? Melanie, do you know? Where are they up to with the schools? What do you know about that?
I don't think anything's mandated yet. I mean, I know they're starting to have vaccines for the kids. That's starting up. I think they're going to the school year is almost over. I mean, it's April, right? We got like 2 months.
Yeah.
But I think new rules are going to come forth in September. That's what I'm worried about. So I think still figuring things out and letting, some schools open. Well, ours was already half and half anyway out here in Orange County, but
Half, what do you mean? Like half?
it was half in school, half online. So you would have maybe a little percentage come in one day, like they would alternate. Tuesday, Wednesday, they would come in, and then like maybe and then the other days they would be at home. And then the other group would go in. So they would switch off. So it was both. So that was just to make it more safer, keep the distance. But it also made it better, less bullying going on. So that was a good thing.
So, I mean, are they putting any kind of age limit on it? Like I heard like 12, children over 12 could get the vaccine, but I don't know about younger. Have you heard anything
Oh,
about
I'm not sure about that. I need to look into that.
Yeah, because I don't know about the safety of it. I don't know if Dean's still with us. Are you still here, Dean? Because
My friend has 2 boys that are under 12, and she talked about them getting vaccinated. So I think it's younger, a lot younger. Yeah, because they're under 12. They're not even that old yet.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting rollout. I feel like for me, I'd rather be in a position of observation to
Exactly. I'd rather observe, let
Yeah.
you guys be the guinea pigs, see how you guys do. The side effects, you still don't know on this vaccine. I'm hearing long-term effects.
Well, yeah, long-term effects. What I've been hearing about, which was new information for me, is that only when we've gone through the next autumn and winter, and we've had the next flu season and the next cold season, and we see how the vaccine performs through those seasons, we're not going to really know what the consequences are.
Exactly. Yeah,
with the different, and then I also heard something interesting, which I don't have any verification for because I didn't get it off the friend who told me, but she said the rhinovirus, the cold virus, when you get a cold virus, it pushes everything out of the cell, so including the coronavirus, which is quite interesting because then everybody will be queuing up to get a cold if they've been exposed to COVID, which I think is, well, why don't they use that as like a cure? If they know that, if the rhinovirus pushes everything else out of the cell, including the COVID virus, then it would seem like people way more intelligent than me on that subject would be able to find answers. Kind of using that.
Sounds logical, but they probably have a reason, why, or
yeah, they probably have a reason
right now. Yeah.
So what I wanted to talk about today, and I do want to talk to Dean if he pops back on to see if this is anywhere in the astrology, is fear and the immune system, and why it's important. We know intuitively and we know logically why it's important that we don't lower into those vibrations of fear, because that would compromise our immune system. But these episodes, there's 2 episodes that I want to share today from that immunity series that, they were made a while ago, but the information is very relevant to sort of where we are today, because I do feel like our best defense in the battle that we're having with health issues is a strong immune system. And, knowing the things that we can do to really improve that immune system. A lot of the things that I've seen consistently talk about vitamin D, and how essential that is. And I think Fauci, when he did an interview and he was asked, he said, yeah, I do 6,000 milligrams of vitamin D every day, but he's not like mandating that, like pushing that idea as, these are intelligent steps that we can take to really be in the best position in the face of a threat to our health. So a lot of this information is really valuable now, even though it was made a few years ago and it was in relationship to vaccines in general, not specifically to these particular vaccines that are totally different. They're not the same as other vaccines. So I don't know if any of you guys have information on that. Do any of you know about like what's different from these vaccines to previous vaccines?
I just don't, you know, I haven't even really looked at anything. I haven't even been interested in any of this, as you all know. I'm just like ignoring it. I was like, this doesn't even pretend. I mean, this doesn't even exist in my world, so I haven't really even looked at it.
That's great. You know, and if I wasn't concerned about going to England, I wouldn't want it to exist in my world either. You know, and probably Melanie, if you didn't have to think about school and, you know, if you can unplug from it and have no impact from not even thinking about it, then that's probably the best sort of way to proceed. And that information about not mandating the passport, that felt like a big exhale for me. You know, that would just be a lot of pressure. I would find that a lot of pressure to go do what they said we should do. So anyway, I've got 2 things to share, so I need to get rolling on that. So just give me a minute or so.